Guys, I need your help. Can you guys just spam hi YouTube so it makes me look like I'm popular and have lots of friends? Otherwise, I'm gonna look like a fucking idiot. Thanks. All right, cool. I get asked a lot on how to be a VTuber. So I thought, why not? Let's make a 25 slideshow presentation on how to be a VTuber. For those that don't know me, my name is Ketone. I'm a singer-songwriter and producer, and I've been a VTuber for the past 5 years. And if this video helps you, click that like and subscribe button. Absolutely smash that shit out. I'm cringing. This is bad. It helps us out a lot. Thank you. Aren't you a femboy? All right, man, what the fuck? When's recess? All right, guys, I haven't even started the presentation. Recess is gonna be in fucking like 3 hours, okay? So I hope you guys, there's no toilet breaks. You're not allowed to leave, all right? Will we be graded on this? Yes, there will be a pop quiz at the end of it. If you fail the pop quiz, you get banned from the stream forever. You get expelled from class. Lock in. I got inspired by Ludwig's How to Be a Streamer video, which I absolutely love, and he does an amazing job at breaking down a lot of the things that I'm gonna talk about here. So definitely go watch his video after watching this one. So first steps, guys, first steps. Write down your goals for the year. Your goals can be as wholesome as you want it to be, or they can be as selfish. Is your goal to become the biggest VTuber? You want to be bigger than iMouse? That's awesome. If your goal is to create a small community to vibe with and to hang out with, that's also amazing too. Is your goal also like just to upload clips of you dominating Valorant? Then by all means, that's amazing, and maybe it might be easier to achieve your goals. Well, at least maybe for you guys, but I can't shoot shit in Valorant, so there you go. Goals are, I think, really, really fucking vital, because they give you something to sort of, what's the word? They give you something to look at and compare yourself. Basically puts you on the right path. Obviously, if your goal is to become the biggest VTuber in the history of VTubers, then maybe start smaller and say, all right, I want to get 1,000 followers first, or something like this for the first year. That's what you guys should start writing down. If you guys are not writing down, please write it down right fucking now. After that, after you've written down your goals, it can be 3, it can be 5 goals, whatever. Write down 3 content creators or VTubers that you would like to try to emulate. Like, write these down right now. Open up your book and write this shit down right now. So obviously, right? Obviously, if your idols or your goals is like, all right, I want to be like Tens or Kaide, and you don't play Valorant or you don't play shooters, then maybe not have Tens or Kaide as your 3 content creators. Same thing as like, oh, I want to be like Giguk or something, and he does love gacha games, and you don't play gacha games, and you don't watch anime, then probably maybe don't try to emulate Giguk. I think if you don't have 3 content creators that you like, you need to start watching streamers or start watching YouTubers, VTubers, start watching them. But what about if you're the only VTuber I watch? I'm very honored for one off, but second, you need to start watching other people as well. I mean, you can draw inspiration from me, but just keep in mind as well, like, you know, you got to figure out as well what kind of content that you would like to do. Like, don't try to copy like another VTuber that plays Pokemon or something when you don't play Pokemon or you hate Pokemon. Okay, so like try to think of people that games that you like to play and streamers that you like to watch. I'll show you guys as well like what I wrote down. These are my goals for 2026 and 2025. My goals for last year was to upload consistent shorts, to reach 1,500 subs on YouTube, average 40 CCV, release my first merch, make more original music, and to move out. I managed to hit, in terms of like my VTubing goals, I managed to hit actually quite a few of them. I managed to do consistent shorts. I was doing like maybe like at least 2 or 3 shorts a week. Well, actually at one point I was doing fucking two shorts a day, which was fucking insane. I don't recommend that to anyone. I actually managed to get 2,500 subs on YouTube, and by I think by August or September I was reaching 40 CCV. So this is the kind of goals that you should have. And for my inspirations, you can see that I've got Ludwig and CDog VA, and I've got some more like off screen there. So these are the creators that I want to try to emulate and learn from, what kind of content they do. I would recommend as well not to Not to fuss over the numbers too much, but just to have it as a goal in mind. My goals are to become Twitch and YouTube partner, to release merch, to release more songs, to release more songs, which, you know, I'm very, very not good at releasing songs. Or yeah, to release more full-length YouTube videos, to move out, and to create fun stream ideas, which is what we're doing right now. For my inspirations, I actually blurred it out this time around, or for this year. And the reason why I blurred it out is because a lot of them are my friends that I've gotten a lot of inspiration from. A lot of recent friends, actually. Taehungi is one of them. Chia Tails is another one of them. Those are two that I can think off the top of my dome, but there's a few more. These are some people that I've been really, really inspired by in terms of like the kind of content that they do, in the way that they handle being a VTuber community, and all that kind of stuff. I think writing down what inspires you and the people that inspires you is really good. Release any song and you achieve this goal. Yes. Like, I mean, goals are something that, you know, we're going to try to aim towards. And this is why this year I'm leaning very heavily into trying to release full YouTube videos and covers and all that stuff. In terms of your goals and the things that you want to hit, right? Let's say my goal was like, I wanted to average 40 viewers a stream, but then I look at my end of year and realize that I've only got maybe like 5 viewers. This is a good indicator for you to maybe try to change your strategy, or to change how you approach VTubing, or if it's maybe even something for you. And that's maybe an honest conversation that you will need to have with yourself and the goals which you want to have. The goals are important because if you do want to grow and turn VTubing into a side hustle, you gotta obviously set some goals out and measure up and see how well you can achieve those goals. That's true. You need a goal to keep you going on days where you feel like giving up. Exactly. Exactly. So, moving swiftly on. If you've managed to write down your goals and your 3 inspirations, this next part is for you. Where to start? First, you should start off with a name. Names can be whatever you want them to be. However, in my opinion, try not to have names which have numbers in them. I feel like names with numbers in them are not exactly great for searching up, but you know, that could just be me. Your name should also be unique. Almost think of it like a YouTuber name. Yeah, if you think of like a YouTuber like Ludwig or Mr. Beast, literally like any other big YouTuber, PewDiePie, they have unique names that are like, you know, to them. I don't really recommend picking something common like, let's say if you pick like Yuki and you're a snow leopard, because there's a million snow leopards named Yuki. How do you come up with something original? It's hard. I genuinely didn't think it would be that hard to come up with a name until I had to pick my own. Keep in mind, guys, my first name was Kit Kat because it was derived from my childhood nickname. Is it better to have a similar name to your actual name or a unique one? That is completely up to you. Changing my name to Ketone Junior 123. Would Kitsu work as a good one? So depending on the name, there might be a lot of Kitsu. I think Kitsu would be quite common in the VTuber community. I think, yeah, Kitsu would be quite common in the VTubing community. But, however, there is a way get around this. The other way to get around this would be something like, for example, if you would have like a first name and a last name. Let's say my name was like, you could call it like Kitsu, I'm trying to think of it, fucking Kitsu Horomiya or something like that. By having like a unique combination, you can turn your name into like a unique name with both first and last name, or unique spelling could be that as well. Try not to have names that are like 4-letter really common Japanese names, or that's just my opinion. You by all means you can name yourself whatever you want. You can name you can name yourself whatever you want, but just keep in mind that if you want to stand out, try to have a unique name. I don't think there is another Ketone in the VTubing community. There is another Ketone who's also, there's an ASMR on YouTube, and there's also yeah, I think there's only one Ketone in terms of VTubers. How did you come up with Ketone? That's a really good name. So actually, sorry, that's a really good question, not name. Well, oh my god, I'm fucking glazing myself. I was actually throwing around a lot of ideas. Do I still have the list of names that I had? So I was also trying to follow my own rules of, you know, trying to have a unique name, because I started, my first name was Kit Kat. So I thought of trying to think of something with maybe cat, but I feel like having cat might be, it would lean you towards being a cat Neko VTuber. So scrapped it. So I decided to go with Kit. But Kit as well is also pretty dangerous as a thing because, you know, Kit is used in a lot of things. So I was thinking of like Keto or Keto Zen, Keto Ken, Keto Ka, Keto Da. I got just Keto again because I wasn't creative. I've got a Kitar because it sounded a bit like guitar, a bit cringe. Or actually, I initially came up with it as Kitone, and then I asked my friend who was a pretty big. I asked a friend who was like a pretty big streamer as well. I was like, "What's your thoughts on Kitone?" And then she was like, "Nah, don't call yourself that because otherwise people are going to think that you're ketone and you have to constantly correct them." And so she was like, "Why not just use ketone?" I was like, "Oh, okay, I think ketone kind of works." And the reason why I settled on ketone was because it kind of takes a pun with key, which is like a musical term, and tone, which is another musical term. And since we do music here a lot of the time, I thought, you know, ketone. It's like a double entendre. That's why I thought, you know, ketone was a really genius name for me at least. Also, having your name in English makes you easier to be found. That's just a given. You also have to think about the type of VTuber that you would like to be. So think of like what kind of species. Like, are you like a dinosaur VTuber? Are you an assassin rogue? Are you a are you a villainous? Are you a cat? Are you a dog? Are you a bird? Like, think of like what kind of animal that you would like to be. You can also go like really off script. You can be like a unicorn, or you can be a like an eagle or something. That's genius, not gonna lie. Oh, thank you. I chose my name thinking about things I like the Greek goddess Nyx. Yeah, I thought so as well. That was the thing that I thought of. And want my future mode to have a dark celestial. That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah, so think about your name as well as the kind of VTuber that you'd like to be. While we're on the topic of what kind of VTuber that you'd like to be, since you've written down your 3 inspirational content creators, content is somewhere that you also may have to start thinking about. So do you play a lot of Valorant? Then maybe you would like to stream more Valorant. Do you play League of Legends? Maybe you'll be a League of Legends streamer. I sort of recommend, in my humble opinion, when you're starting out, stick to one game. Stick to one game or to one niche. That's how I started. That's how many of my friends started. And the reason why I say that is because when you're starting out, no one fucking knows you. I'm just gonna lay it down completely normal. Like, I'm just gonna lay it down flat for you guys. No one knows you when you're starting out. No one knows, I can't talk. No one knew me when I started out. You can pick maybe like 1 or 2 games, but don't pick like 5 games a week and then change to another 5 games next week. The reason why I say that is because no one really knows you when you're starting out. So they will usually come to you they'll come and watch you based on like the game that you play. And by playing the same game, you'll have consistency with your content, which is what people like. For example, for me at least, I am a musician streamer. That's like the main thing that I do. I will always, regardless of the game that I play, I will always do a singing or guitar or singing stream at least once or twice a week. Can I go for a broad category like horror, or does it have to be a specific game? It can be a genre like horror. That is why you'll see, for example, Tens. If anyone has ever watched the Valorant Pro Tens, you'll see that he will either do Valorant or he will do a game similar to Valorant, like Arc Raiders or Apex or Tarkov or something like that, because they're all first-person shooter type games. VTubing sounds fun, but I don't want to leave my day jobs. You don't have to leave your day jobs. I've got a day job, in fact. You said inspirational kit. I was actually thinking about live streaming music. Yeah, try to have a niche with what you do. Try to have a niche. My niche is music. You guys' niche can be Legend of Zelda. You guys' niche can be League of Legends. It can be Valorant. I will say as well, this might be getting a little bit too into the content hole. Streaming Valorant and League of Legends I wouldn't recommend starting out with that. The one thing that you must do is the thing that you enjoy. If you don't enjoy streaming Valorant or League of Legends, because the reason why I say that is because there is a million League of Legends and Valorant streamers that it's very hard to break the 0 to 3 viewer barrier, let's say. You have to scroll down so much. Do you know how many streamers stream Valorant and League? Fucking like thousands. So in order to get, or to be discovered, you would have to get above like the 10 viewers for Valorant or League, and that's very hard to do. It's a very saturated category. I do not recommend streaming it when you first start out, but however, if you really enjoy Valorant or League, stream it. Fucking stream it. That's the most important thing to do. But just know that it's very hard to grow when you start out. I started thinking this won't work out for me. It can work. And I can go into how it can work. But yeah, just think about the type of content that you guys would like to be making. Does anyone have any questions about the topic on content? Just do it. Make your dreams come true. Exactly. I'm also a firm believer on, if you enjoy it, you'll make it work. I'm a firm believer on that. 100%. What if we want to play two different games, like two different genres? Yeah, then I think you should stick to that. Try to stick to that. Can we become VTubers who does that? That is actually one of the most popular things. It's music and art, I reckon, are some of the most popular. Yeah. Like outside of games, VTubers that do art and do music, like singing or that kind of stuff, extremely popular. I reckon those are some of the two best niches, in my opinion. I've seen some really creative VTubers. They're like they have like a split between like Celestial something or like a mixed combo, like Celestial Dragon, or you can have like a robotic XYZ. It's pretty cool. I've seen like really good combinations of like half dead. It's kind of like undead like cats or undead tigers and that kind of stuff. Really cool. Is it better to be indie or join a company? That's a really good question, and my answer to that is it depends on your goals. Staying on one thing would probably be hard for me at first because I draw two. Yeah, I mean, like you can make, like, when I say make something your main thing, right? I say that, like, for example, like music is my main thing. However, I also do some things on the side, like Liza P. Liza P and music are not in the same category, not even close to being in the same category. But you guys know me as that guy that does music, and I also do push-up streams with Liza P and hard game. In terms of content, I actually didn't want to become a VTuber. I started out thinking VTubers are cringe. Out of my friend group of 6 people, I was the last person to become a VTuber. Partly because I didn't think I would be very funny and didn't think I would have people watching me. Jokes on past ketone. But now, 5 years later, I've been doing it and I absolutely love it. I also, when I started out VTubing, I also planned to be a League of Legends streamer. I've only streamed League in my entire 5 years of being a VTuber 3 times. I've only streamed League 3 times. And the reason why is because I found out that there's too many people that stream League, so I decided to stream other games like Hollow Knight and other hard games. The more you know, 5 years later, still doing it, and I think we're doing pretty good. Have variety, but have one main thing to stream. Exactly. Have your bread and butter stream that people know you for. For example, what do you guys know me for? You guys know me for probably music and probably the Dark Souls games where I would do push-up. Once you have found your name and all that, time to create all your accounts on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, all that good stuff. And yeah, it's good. So now that we've gone over the prerequisites, how do we start getting a VTuber model? This is probably the main thing that most of you guys are wondering about, and is the main meat and potatoes of today's stream. How to get a VTuber model. First off, there are a few ways to do it. I've got 3 ones here, or three main ones here, but yeah, we'll go through all of these in detail. The first one is commissioning a custom model. These ones are usually, or the $ next to them is to show how expensive they are in comparison. First one is commissioning a custom model. But this one is basically, it's like custom to everything that you want on it. It is like, it's got all the bells and whistles. You want the hand toggles that stick a middle finger up, then you can have that. If you want a custom model that does fucking backflips, you can commission that. It'll cost a lot, but you can. Yeah, it will have everything that you want down to the pixel, pretty much. So the second one as well is customizables or pre-mades. Customizable or pre-mades. These ones are the ones which they usually start off with a pretty basic base, and then you can change around the textures of it or the hairstyles, nose, eyes, penis size, etc. to fit your character in mind. The third option is to be a PNGer. PNGTuber is actually how I started out, and I think is a pretty low cost way to do it, and I think it's pretty good. To make it as realistic as possible, I'm getting a model with a 20-incher. It's so true. What I'm confused about is how you come up with so many ideas. Like, the thing is, you have to, I think watching YouTubers and watching VTubers or content creators, they will just give you ideas, I think. I'm gonna be so real, this has just made it very apparent my brain is not built for streaming. That's completely fine. Like, I'm giving a sort of introductory course on it, but keep in mind that this is knowledge that I have accumulated over 5 years of doing it. When I become a VTuber, I will tell everyone that you helped me with this class. I'm very, very happy. I'm very happy that this stream might, you know, it might help someone that doesn't know where to start. Hell, I didn't fucking know where to start when I started out. And the landscape for VTubing has changed so much in the last 5 years. Yeah, these are the 3 main ways to go about getting a model. All right, next one. So, number 1, commissioning a custom model. This one is the most tailored towards you. This one is like, you can have everything that you want. You can have the right jacket that you want. You can have the right pets that you want. You can have the right shoes, shirt, all that good stuff. You can have everything down to the right pixel. The model that I'm using right now is it's a custom model. It's completely tailored to everything that I wanted, like head to toe, perfect. However, it is usually the most expensive. Obviously, with, you know, you being able to change everything that you want about it, it is bound to be pretty fucking expensive. So this is why I've got the gif of this guy opening a wallet going, oh. This one as well, you will have to hire and communicate and talk to artists and or the riggers, which is the animators, on what you want your model to look like. For example, for my model, I'm gonna step into the front here. Whoa, look at that. Yeah. I asked them to obviously draw my hands, you know, playing guitar, and I asked my rigger or my animator to be moving my hands around so that it looks like I'm playing guitar. Does your model have legs? Yes, my model also has legs. That is right. There you go. And I also obviously got them to add a little guitar case and everything. Oh my god, short. I'm not short. I'm fucking tall as fuck, man. I'm tall. Yeah. So again, as well with any art, it can get expensive. Art is a luxury. Let's not cut it any other way. Art is an absolute luxury. So you have to obviously ask the artist and the rigger or the animator. Yeah, you have to ask them on their prices and how much it will cost to you know, draw and animate your model. Sure, yeah, I love the star you say. I love it as well. Thank you. Yeah, this thing, like the star on the sleeve is like one of the most like genius ideas that my designer made. Actually, you have to hire and communicate with artists and riggers on what you want your model to look like, which depending on the artist, you may also need to hire a character designer. Or if your model artist also does the design as well, that's a big bonus. This model is extremely tailored towards you. So if you want pink ribbons in your hair, go for it. You can get pink ribbons, you can get green jackets, you can get black pants, you can get freaking a dinosaur on your head. Oh no, talking to people, I know, right? Talking to people is hard, but yeah. You know, just shoot them a message. There's also other stuff as well. In terms of like a model, you also need other equipment. For example, like a camera or an iPhone to track your face movements and, you know, make your model talk and move its lips and all that good. If that's what you want to add to your VTuber model, by all means, be my guest. There is other equipment that you will need when you get a custom model like this, is that you need a webcam or an iPhone to track your movements and, you know, to obviously show that to stream. There could be, yeah, I think I'm gonna make a whole separate video on face tracking down the road. So if you guys want to see that, please leave a like on stream or say yes. The tracking could be a whole new slideshow presentation on its own. Commissioning sounds scary. It can be scary. It can be scary. But that is a necessary thing that you have to do. I guess next slide here. Character design. So yeah, this was my character design that was designed by my good friend Iro Art, who I have known ever since we were, I think, 6 years old, or maybe even 5 years old. I've known this guy for most of my life. And yeah, it is really, really cool that I found out very, very late that he watches VTubers and he's also an artist. So I asked him, hey, can you design a 2.0 design for me? And yeah, he's good. He's really, really good. Write this down, yeah. But yeah, this is my design before obviously being turned into what you see now on an everyday stream. Any questions? Probably not. All right, moving on. So this part here is the VTuber model. This was made by Color R. This is like sort of like the components of my model. Obviously the legs, the jacket, the shirt, the feet, the necklaces, the choker, everything was kind of separated out. The reason why VTuber models are very expensive is because the model artist has to basically separate every component of the model into its own bit. So the guitar is separate, but even the jacket itself has maybe about 50 layers to it, all separated out so that the animator can make it all move nice and flowy. I think my hair itself is separated into like 8 parts. So that's why it's so expensive, is because it's not just regular art that someone is drawing. It is also making it in the right layers. Does anyone have any questions? Bro's not even cleaning the art. Rigging is so much work. It is so much work. Reach is it common for VTubers to buy pre-mades? Yes, 100%. I'll talk about pre-mades in a second, actually. The VTubing space has definitely changed a lot since I started back in 2021, and pre-mades are definitely a huge part of that. But next slide, guys, next slide. Oh my God, this feels like a high school presentation, guys. Lock in, guys. High school presentation time. This part here is the animating part, which some people in chat have already said that it is an absolute nightmare, and I think so as well. This thing here is apparently the bane of most people's existence. So you guys can see all these little sliders and all that. These are individual parameters that change depending on if I move. This obviously is working in the background, but yeah. This is the rigging or the animating part of VTubing. Took me 2 weeks to learn how to make the model blink, open, close mouth, and tilt the head left, right. 2 weeks. Yeah, it's not an easy thing to learn. Again, with drawing model art, rigging as well is an art form. It is an art form. The rigger's job is to make the model move to your movements and to give you model physics like bounciness or whatever. In all 3 areas of design, model art, and rigging, they are all art forms in their own way. And with any art form, there are preferences and stuff that you may like or may not like. For example, I really like the bounciness. If you can see like the flap on my jacket, it kind of bounces. I prefer that kind of stuff, but you may prefer less bouncy, or you might prefer stiffer, or maybe a maybe a rigger's mouth is more like can enunciate the words better or whatever, right? For me at least, the bouncy kind of rigs, I prefer that kind of stuff. I like to be able to move around and kind of bounce off the walls, but maybe that's not something that you like. That's just how I like to express myself. What I like to say is to look at other VTubers models, and if you like how their model moves, see who rigged it. I'm surprised your jacket even says that. I know, right? Yeah, there's definitely a lot of really good advice as well I'm seeing there. People say, yeah. Chaz also come out with some really good advice. Look at this, all helping each other out. I know, right? Your model is definitely one of the more bouncy ones, I say. Yeah. I really prefer the kind of bouncy stuff. But some people also do like the more like realistic, or What program is best used for rigging? The only one that I know of is called Live 2D Cubism. Getting all this started seems really intimidating. How do you go through that? That's a really good start. The other options, I'm gonna go through the other stuff as well, and those are gonna be a lot easier, trust me. So next slide, guys, next slide. Number 2, the customizable pre-made. This has been the fastest changing thing inside the VTubing sphere. Customizables are the one thing that has completely changed the VTubing landscape. It is insane. It is so good. It has lowered the barrier of entry for a lot of people. It is relatively cheap comparatively, and there are so many options. I will admit there are more options geared towards female leaning models, but there's also some guy models out there as well. How to tell if it's AI or not? I'm not the right person to ask for that. I get tricked all the time. The pros for it is that there are many options, and it's relatively cheaper. And by say relatively cheaper, I mean instead of spending thousands of dollars on a custom model, it's maybe going to be either tens to maybe hundreds at most kind of dollars. Some people would say that they don't want to be a PNGTuber because it isn't really VTubing, or it doesn't give like the same vibe. I completely disagree with that. I think PNGTubing is definitely way up there. In fact, actually, a lot of, what's it called? Yeah, you have many options to choose from. You got male, female options. Admittedly, I've seen more female leading models than male, but I'm sure if you search hard enough, you'll find one that you will like. Yeah, there are definitely some cons as well, which I'm going to get into. The cons are you don't technically own the design, which means that you can't make a character out of it and sell merch. You can't make merch out of it because you don't own the rights to it. However, which I didn't think of this before, but thank you, Chair, for this one. If you have an existing design that you have commissioned or created yourself, you can try to make your customizable look as close to it as possible. You won't have full control over everything, right? Like, you know, if you have pink ribbons in your hair or like polka dot ribbons, maybe the model can only do like pink ribbons or something. But so you won't have full control over it, but you can get it pretty close. The models nowadays are pretty good, so I'm pretty sure with enough time you can make something that you'll like. You can also use the design of your customizable as a base to build on top of it for art, or you know, you can use it to maybe make your own future custom model. Yeah, thank you as well to my good friend Chie for this idea. I'd never thought of using your customizable as a base to make your original custom VTuber model. Really, really cool stuff. I've also, in terms of like using customizables, I've seen people use customizables all the way from beginning towards like to reach Twitch partner. Yeah. So again, the customizables do give you they give you the VTuber experience for a fraction of the cost. Is this a PowerPoint presentation? It is. It is. They're a lovely thing to have before custom. Yes. Yes. I think so as well. I think so as well. There's so many customizables, it's hard to choose from. It is. It is. The slides provided with the model are so easy to use. Yeah. Yeah. So it's basically as easy as moving a slider left and right to find the right hair that you want, or to find the right texture that you want, ears, eyes, everything. There are so many options. It is absolutely insane. Yeah. Obviously, a customizable is not going to be one-to-one exactly what you want, but I reckon you can get pretty close. Like, the options are insane that I reckon with enough fiddling around, you can get something which you're really happy with. All right. No questions? Moving on. Moving on. Brilliant. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. So, here are some of the models which I have seen. The Prism one, it has been very popular. In fact, actually, I think the one in the middle called the Jenny model, you can find that on Nazima, I think. And that one was, I feel like that was like the grandmother that opened the gates for, you know, customizables, because that one was so popular. It was extremely popular, that a lot of people still use it to this day. And then obviously we've had the recent Suika one, and then the Prism one as well on the far left. Really, really good. Also, I think if I made an attempt to VTubing, considering the cost and how equivalent of $1 is in my country, I would only be able to aim for pre-made, and that's completely fine as well. Oh, sorry, that's completely fine as well. And I think it's very expressive. It's probably the most expressive pre-made I've seen, genuinely. The reason why I showed the ones on here is because I wanted to show you the stuff that you can do. So obviously with like the basic, you know, the base, you can do such awesome outfits and designs, like as you can see on here with Cheertails, Lady May. So this is just a way to show the stuff that you can do with the model. You can really like customize it so that it looks like you, or you know, it looks something that you'll be happy with. So this can just show the extent of how much you can customize, which I think is really cool. And yeah. Next slide, guys. Next slide. I'm going to just swiftly move on. So, where can I find these pre-made models? That's an excellent question. Random Twitch message that I made up in chat. These are the 4 sites that I would suggest starting out to look at. Keep in mind, Booth and Nazima are both Japanese sites, so you have to use the auto translate in your Google Chrome or whatever in your browser to search, like, you know, to navigate it. But Nazima, VGen, Booth PM, and Etsy are pretty good. However, watch out with Etsy because there might be a few AI ones. Obviously, pre-made models are cheaper than custom ones, but obviously there is a little price to pay. But in terms of price to pay for how good they are, it's amazing. It's night and day kind of thing. Anyway. Next slide, guys. Next slide. So, PNGTubing. This is the one that I started out with actually, and is a really, really interesting place to start. I think this one has one of the lowest barriers to entry. Yeah, it's usually the cheapest option. Very extremely entry level. And however, it's not, obviously you won't have like the movement and stuff, but the trade-off for that is that you won't need a webcam. You can just use a microphone and you're pretty much set. Yeah, the requirement for equipment is very low. No camera required. And you know, there's obviously paid and free options. Some people have even made PNGTubing very expensive, but you obviously need the most expensive mic, right? No, you don't. No, you don't. You can have, I would say you can have a pretty cheap mic, but you know, you can also try to spruce it up a little bit as well. Question, how often did you stream when starting out? I think I did twice a week. Twice a week, but my advice is do it as many times as you can. Do it as many times as your schedule allows. So I'm not saying quit your day job and start streaming 12 hours a day for 7 days a week. In fact, actually, I recommend do not do that. That's my huge suggestion, is to not do that. Yeah, so PNGTubing is just basically the type of image and it just either moves or lights up when you talk. Next one here, guys. So as you guys can see, this slide might be a little bit blank. And I'm going to show you something which I usually don't ever show on stream ever. Yes, there it is. Yes, so this is how I started out. Every time that I would talk, my model would literally light up. This is how I started, and I streamed this for maybe about 6 months when I first started out. I miss him? No, you don't. No one misses him. Yes. So as you guys can see, this was, my design was pretty much, I said to my model artist at the time, or like my PNG artist at the time, I just want me in a plaid shirt, black shirt, sorry, a plaid over, like, what's it called? Plaid over jacket thing, black shirt, and a dinosaur on my head. That was it. That was the assignment, and they knocked it out of the park. I miss Kit Red. He's cute. Oh, thanks guys. So this is just an example of PNGTubing. However, the ceiling for PNGTubing can go extremely high. I used Godot for a while. That's probably another one. Is there a way where Discord isn't needed? There are. PNGTube and what's it called? PNGTube, and I think those are the ones. There may be some other ones. Like, I've not done PNG, because PNGTubing as well was extremely in its infancy when VTubing first came out. It was very much in its infancy. There is a fourth, even more devious option, and it's called Make It Yourself, which costs $0. But the cost of it will be your sanity. Anyone that draws or rigs yourselves, or, you know, does any of that, respect to you guys. That is some insane work, and it is really hard to do. It's really hard to do, but if you can do it at the cost of your sanity, by all means, please be my guest. What if doing it bad sets you apart? Then 100% do that. 100% do that. There's a reason why custom models are expensive. Exactly. There is a reason. However, on the bright side, you also have ultimate creative freedom. At the cost of my sanity? What sanity? That's true. All right, guys. So in terms of like making it yourself, I do have a few examples. You could make like a PNGTuber, like a Picrew or like a VRoid or like a Microsoft Paint, if God forbid you want to use Microsoft Paint for your next VTuber model. VRoid is a custom, you can make your custom 3D model with a bunch of like assets and stuff. But yeah, there's definitely ways that you can create your own PNG models. You can use like a Picrew or something. Next slide, guys. Next slide. Equipment. In terms of equipment, we obviously, in terms of like the face tracking stuff, there's a few ways to go about it. There is like a camera. You can use like a webcam. You can use a DSLR cam. So it's like one of those fancy $4,000 cameras. Don't know why you would want that, but you can use it if you want. And you can also use an iPhone. An iPhone paired up with the tracking software on your computer can do some really good stuff like this. Like, or I can stay my, or I can also puff my cheeks out as well. I can also puff my cheeks out, or stick my tongue out, or I'm gonna try to do both. No, I can't do both. Never mind. But yeah, that basically tracks what happens with your face and then relays it onto your VTuber model. The microphone as well is also very important, and your streaming device. Your streaming device will probably maybe have to be like a computer or a laptop, but keep in mind that VTuber models, depending on how intensive they are, will take up resources on your computer. The iPhone tracking basically bumps up the tracking and you know, the mouth movements to an insane level. Obviously it's an iPhone that has Face ID, so it's an iPhone 10 and above. You can probably get an iPhone 10 for fairly cheap secondhand. But yeah, just keep in mind that when you use a webcam or a camera, the tracking quality may be down a little bit. What brand of webcam do you recommend? Anything that does 30 to 60 frames, like 1080p, or, you know, I started out with a 780p camera. So literally anything that's just okay. Yeah, so you definitely probably need a laptop or a computer to stream with a VTuber model or a PNG. All right, next slide, guys. Next slide, lock it in. So my final advice for you guys is to be brave. Be brave. Set a date for yourself when you're gonna look for a model or open up a Twitter or Twitch account or even go live. Set yourself a date and hold yourself to it. Set yourself a date and hold yourself to it. My most biggest advice is do VTubing for the love of the game and for fun. Do not do it purely for numbers. Me and many other VTubers and content creators get into this trap of doing it, like, you know, getting really stuck into the numbers and like, oh, like, would this do well? First and foremost, do it because you enjoy it. I'm being dead serious, because if you do it for numbers, you will be unhappy, you will burn out, you will give up. Hell, I almost gave up about a year ago. I was close to giving up a year ago because I was so into like the numbers that I kind of didn't see why I even started it in the first place. And don't be afraid to suck when you start. I mean, fuck. I sucked when I started. If I look back to this moment, Future Keytone's gonna be like, oh my god, what the fuck are you doing, mate? Yeah, he's gonna be rolling in his bed, cringing his ass off. Fail and fail better. Another bit of advice as well is that before you spend any amount of money into VTubing, for the absolute love of God, fucking go live once. Please go live once. Do not blow $3,000 on a new PC, new model, $5,000 on a new model, like art rig, everything. Please stream, just stream once. Stream once and see if you like it. Because I've seen people, they've spent months, they've put 6 months together. All right, I've got a really good PC, I've got an amazing model, 500 toggles, amazing. And then they stream maybe for a week and they realize that they don't like it and they quit. So I'm gonna save you the trouble and pain of spending thousands and thousands of dollars. Do not buy stuff for VTubing unless you have streamed once. And thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Who's 10? Shut up, dude. Shut up.